Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, George. Veronica, Helen. Good morning. Today we're going to be doing these leaves up here, I think. I keep going back and forth on which ones I want to do. You know what? I just saw that, Helen. You were like, morning, and replied to the other live, and I was like, huh. That's okay, though. Okay, so I think we're going to do these 5 leaves up here. And, do I want to do that? Yeah, they'll be fine. So these up here. So what you'll need is you'll need one color of green, and we're going to do, you can do all the leaves the same color, or you can pick 3 and do those the same color and the other 2 a different color. That's up to you, but we're just going to use one color for the whole leaf. And we're going to do the fishbone stitch. Now, some people really like this stitch, and some people do not like this stitch. I don't think it's as universally hated as like a satin stitch or French knots. I feel like people really don't like those. But yeah, they're all right, you know? So what we're going to do is pick a green. Let's pick one that's not like really close to the other ones. This one will be okay, I think. Let me just have one more look. I've just picked the same color twice, so maybe I should definitely use this color. I kind of wanted like a brighter, like a green, you know? Something a bit more bright. Okay, I'm gonna use this one. So what we're gonna do is, before we get started, this is one where you start a couple stitches in the middle, and then from there, you're going to overlap your stitches. So one from the left across the line, one from the right across the line, one from the left across the line, one from the right across the line. And when you do that, you're going to make almost like a braided, like a crisscrossing pattern on there. So yeah. So before we get started, as you know, I like to mark on the fabric to kind of give you a guideline. So we'll start with this one here. Of course, you can make it curved if you want to. If you want to have a curved line down the middle. I'm just going to straighten mine out a little bit because it will be easier to show you for the very first one. Now, for the first couple stitches, I'm going to start my crisscrossing. You can start it right at the tip if you want, or you can kind of move it down a bit. It just depends on how long you want the crisscrossing to be. But I'm going to show you how to do it to about here. So first we'll do a couple straight stitches like this, probably like 3 or 4. And then every one from here is going to go across this line. So we'll go from here across the line, then over to here across the line. And if you need to put these guidelines to kind of give you, you know, some guidelines to give you guide, of course you can do that. So again, we're going to start about here on our leaf. You guys are quiet today. Quiet today. Just like a weird angle, and it's, you know, it's not rainy today, but it looks like it is gonna rain, so that's not exciting. Oh, do you know what? My thing was stuck. Weird. I've just scrolled down and saw like all of your morning comments. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Meg. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I was like, man, I don't see anybody join in. I don't see anybody doing anything. I thought maybe my video was like, you know, like messing up or something. Like one day you couldn't hear audio. I was like, huh. Please don't mess up. Helen says, I find it difficult to make the leaf fat, if that makes sense. It does make sense. like this way. Morning. Oh, guys, I feel so much better. I thought I had lost you. Okay, let me take a drink and then I'll get straight to the tip. Okay, so because I want to start mine down here, I'm gonna do just a couple of stitches on the top. Let's see if I can't. I feel like you all are gonna not be able to see this very well. Okay, so we'll come up to the top. And this is gonna be a pain because it's a little bit loose there. Yeah, so we've got one stitch. We're gonna do one on either side through the same hole. And then I'm gonna reassess and see if I need to do one more or not. Yeah, I'm gonna do one more. Now, if you would like yours to start right at the tip, then don't start stitching yet and just wait until I do the crisscrossing. Okay, so this is where the crisscrossing begins. Now, some people will take their, still like not very bright in my video. Some people will take their thread and come up from the left, remember, left, then the right, then the left, then the right. Alternatively, no. The other way you could do it is go from the right over, then the left over, but whichever way you feel like. Good morning, Kim. So some people will take their embroidery, come up on the edge of the leaf here, and go all the way down to the other edge of the leaf. Yeah, so you're gonna get this big line from here all the way down to about there. Now you don't have to do that to get this effect. It will make the leaf more like thick at the bottom, if you know what I mean, if you do it that way. But as far as like the actual technique, it won't like change it at all. So what I like to do is just go on the other side of this line. And all of these little stitches on either side are going to get covered up. So it doesn't really matter if you go all the way over or if you go just to the other side, but you do have to pass the other side. We're not going to go into the middle. They have to be kind of over here. So the other thing I like to do if you have a problem with like, you know, how far over do I go? You can also just kind of make a little line on either side like this as a reminder to just go on this line. So left to this line, right to this line. So hopefully that's making sense. So far we've got 6 strands of thread. I've made 1 stitch down the middle and then 2 on each side. And from now on, we're gonna go left to right and right to left. And these are gonna cross over the middle section and make a nice little like braided effect. The other thing that you have to kind of look out for is the angle of your stitches. So I've already drawn on these angles, but obviously if I do that really strict angle already, then I'm going to be covering up what I've already done. So I'm just going to adjust my angle a little bit. Just a little bit. So like I said, left, then right. So now we're going to do the same thing on the right. And we're going to cross it over to this line. They have to cross the middle. They don't have to, this is too loose at the top. It's going to drive me nuts. It doesn't matter how far over they go, if you know what I mean. So now we're back to the left. And we're just gonna lay that down right in line with the other one. And back to the right. And then this continues the entire way. I kind of want to see if I can't hold this fabric because it's giving me puckers. But I'm definitely gonna end up hitting that if I So it sounds a little tricky, but it's really not. So as you get going, you can see that there's this braided like kind of look. It's called the fishbone stitch. You want to try and keep your stitches nice and tight. And that means that they're close together. You don't want to have them too far apart, or you'll see the fabric in through the bottom. Now you can tell here, I started mine a little bit lower, and that's where the little braid starts. So if you wanted to start it all the way at the top, I would still do one little tiny stitch just for the tip, so it has that nice pointy tip. And then from there, start it way at the top and cross over all the way. Is that Teresa from next door I saw on here? She made pancakes this morning, and oh my God, they look so good. I'm making cookies again later, so if you want some, come on over. Cookie bars. Okay, so you can also do this with 2 different colors. If you want to cover the petal, then you can, just to like have a nice ending. Otherwise, you can just do straight stitches on either side to give the illusion that it's going behind. But that's up to you and how much you're comfortable making up, if you know what I mean. Now, some people will do this with 2 different colors. And if you do it with 2 colors, then you will need 2 needles. Because you need to do them at the same time. So you'll have a needle on this side with the color, you'll have a needle on this side with the color, and you'll only do like the light green on one side and dark green on the other, if that makes sense. So if you're a little bit more advanced and you think, I'm going to give that a go, do it. Try. Of course, try. The only bad thing about this is if you do find that you've got a gap, like I could have made mine a little bit closer right here. If you do find that you have a gap, it's hard to go back and add a couple more stitches in because we are doing a pattern. So just try your best to make your stitches nice and tight together so they don't have a space between like this. You want them to lay, you know, literally just right next to each other. Now this one looks like, it almost looks like this side I'm gonna have to do more stitches, and that is absolutely fine. You'll see we'll just make up a couple little stitches on there. And that can be for a number of reasons. I didn't make it symmetrical, meaning that this side is a bit darker, not darker. I was reading the comment. one was a bit like fatter or like more voluptuous than the other side. So don't get worried if you're like, oh my gosh, this is not working out. I have so much space on this side and no space on this side. What am I going to do? How am I going to make it work? So don't worry about that. This will probably be the last one because the middle has run into this petal. So sorry about that. So for these other ones, I'm just going to fill them in with straight stitches that are on the same angle as these ones. So I wouldn't just start filling it in from here and just like, you know, fill it in. You still have to do the same angle because that will give the same, like the illusion that this is continuing behind this flower. Now, Kim has just said, if you do 2 different colors, how different would you go? Like similar or one light and one dark? You can try whichever way that you'd like. I talked a little bit about colors, like color theory and stuff, and the very last stitch along that I did. Or maybe it was the one before that, actually. but I would choose some colors that go together and aren't too like off, you know? So the same color family. So if they have like a yellow undertone, oh my gosh. This is my arm from holding that fabric tight. Oh my God. That's disgusting. For stitching, you know, for the love of stitching. So just real quick, like this one here has like a yellow undertone to it. So it looks a bit more yellow. So if you did this one with say like this one that has like more blue in it, that's going to look off. It's not going to look, it doesn't look like they go together, you know? So you might want to choose another one that does have a bit of yellow to it. Almost like this, not the same color, but almost like the same tone, you know? But they're a little bit different. So if you wanted to do yellow, you could do one like that. Blue, let me see if I have any blue ones. I don't think I picked a lot of like blue undertone greens. I have this one that's got a bit of blue undertone to it. But like these two, they would also work. They don't have to be so different in color though, you know? Even these two here that I used yesterday, these are the two colors I used yesterday on the these petals, they would also look lovely. So you just don't want to pick them that are like way too different because then it will really be an odd pair, you know? So I'm thinking really quickly, I'll just put my finger in front of the camera, so that's great. So we've done just one here. I'm going to do another one as well because it's only been 18 minutes and there's like loads of time left. I'm thinking I might change the color and do like a different color over here, and then you can see like how the different colors look. So really quickly, the back looks like this. Yeah. So you can tell that we crossed over there, and this is almost like a satin stitch on the back. So there you go. What happened there? Too late to change now, isn't it? Okay, so let's choose another color and then do this other big one over here. So I've got this one, and let's choose like a lighter, maybe that one. Or that one. I'll do this one because it's like a little bit similar, but like definitely a little lighter, you know? So this one is Anchor 225. That last color was 701, and I think that's DMC. Let's get some thread. And I'm using all 6 strands. I find that it fills up the leaf really nicely because the leaves are a good size, so you don't want to be like there forever, you know, like doing those. But of course you can use a smaller number of threads if you want to. Even on a 6-inch hoop, I think that they'll probably be a good size for just to use all 6 strands. Obviously, if you use less strands, then you'll see the effect a bit more finer. If you know what I mean? I've used 3. Okay, so I'm going to try and do a little curve on this one. So I'm going to start the exact same way that I did with this one so that they look a little bit the same. And so I'll start about here. I just might have to add a couple more stitches on this side. Yeah, because I have more space on this side. So let's do that, and this side on here. And obviously the angle doesn't have to be the same. This one is more severe, you can tell, and this one here is less. They don't have to be the exact same angle on each side. They can be like cousins, not twins, you know? Or sisters, each side. Okay, and then I'm just gonna do a little curve so I know where to finish my, put the needle back down. Okay. Let's see if this works. Like eyebrows, exactly, just like eyebrows, Kim. They're sisters, not twins. They don't have to look the same. I say that a lot to myself about like flowers. If I have two flowers that are the same kind of flower, like these, next to each other, they don't have to look the same. They don't have to use the same colors. They don't have to be, exactly identical. This hoop is like not good. You can tell when I pull the needle through that there's a gap there. That's really annoying. Maybe I'll take this out and swap hoops. Because, oh my God, that's just gonna drive me crazy. The beauty of hand embroidery. Oh, I've unlocked a new level today. How many times do you guys do this? So if you're new to hand embroidery, I feel like I need to make like a levels thing. Because I think that would be hilarious. Ooh, that guy was teaching scientific thinking. That's fun. So yeah, there's like different levels, I feel like, that you unlock when you've been doing it like long enough, that certain things always seem to happen. And you're like, oh, unlocked a new level. So many times, yes. Oh, it's so annoying when you're like in the zone of like doing something, or if you're doing like a woven wagon wheel and you're going round and round and round and it keeps catching on this thing. Oh, I get so mad, like irate. Because I'm just like, why do I have to do that? Why me? I'm gonna do one more. Only because I feel like that angle is gonna be really tight. Okay. Let's see how this curved one looks. Another like really amazing thing about embroidery is that you're like never alone. So like someone else, you can say, oh, I'm such an idiot because I've done this so many times and this is what's happened. And like, you'll always find someone who's done the exact same thing as you. Kim says, my favorite is stitching the spare fabric to the back of my work. It makes me so mad. Yup. Oh my gosh, yes. It's so annoying. Okay, but have you ever stitched your actual shirt into the back of your fabric? Because I've done that. This is totally going to have a pucker in it, and there's just nothing I can do. There's just nothing I can do about it. Not yet. That's a whole nother level of, do I cut the fabric, like the thread out, or do I cut my shirt? Helen so many times. But there's time, and I'm surprised I haven't yet. Yeah, you stitch all the time. What's like your other embroidery pet peeves? Like when something happens and you're like, I feel like this will now happen. Pray to the embroidery gods that it doesn't, because that's so annoying. Or just wear really tight shirts. Would cut the shirt. Ooh, you should make a bingo of these levels. Oh, that would be fun. Rebloom Embroidery. Did you tell me your name before? Because I can't remember it. Oh, that's so clever. I'd be like bingo every freaking way. like up, down, cross, diagonal, every way. Light that board up. Marion. Yeah, Marion. Oh, this is gonna be so bad. Hi, Carrie. I'm saying it's gonna be so bad because I'm stitching it when it's not tight. And when you do that, especially with these ones, it pulls in the middle of them together. So what happens is that you end up getting like a pucker in your fabric. So that's why I'm always like, pull your fabric tight, pull your fabric tight. I will never comment that on anyone's pictures or give unsolicited advice because I know some people, I'm not saying this to be negative, but some people are quite sensitive with feedback, especially if it's your first time stitching. So it's like the last thing that someone needs is to be like, this looks great, but this looks crap, and this looks crap, and this looks crap. So I'll never say it unless someone completely asks. And most of the time, everything looks amazing anyways. So like there's no reason to say anything. But I will say one thing that I cannot keep from saying is pull your fabric tight every single time. And just to be clear, I've never seen anybody's embroidery that looked really bad and I was like, oh yeah, that's great. That's never happened. So this is where it could get tricky because I'm going around this flower. So the tip of it, I'm just gonna stitch over the tip, but then we still have it continuing on this side right here. So you're gonna want to move, instead of going all the way to here, you're gonna move your stitches to here. Saggy fabric rings the embroidery bell. Yes. Melanie knows. Oh, it's like such a pet peeve. And I'm just going to continue this into the oblivion here. And this is where it will get a little bit tricky because, again, we're going around this flower. So it's going to look a little bit weird right now, but then when we put the flower in, it'll be better. Kim says, lots of people mentioned that in my unpopular opinions yesterday. Ooh, that they didn't care about saggy fabric, or that the saggy fabric ruins it. Thread that knots all the time. I'm not gonna lie, there's been a couple days where I've had so many knots in a row that I was like, I can't do this right now. I need to do something else. So now I'm just continuing the leaf until it goes down. And I'm just gonna do like 2 more stitches here, I think. And it will look a little bit weird. It looks like we've just taken a chunk out of this leaf. It will look a little bit weird because, like I said, we're gonna stitch around this flower. Kim says, oh, okay, so that saggy fabric ruins it. Like, unpopular opinion. Mine is when stitches get pulled too tight and the fabric puckers. Yeah, mine's totally gonna do that. And then the back looks like this. Ta-da! A little bit jumbled at the end because obviously we had to go around that flower. So if you look in the light, like that. So there we go. Any questions or comments, feedback, anything that y'all want to say? I think I'm going to leave it at those two for right now because it's literally just the same thing for all of these. For these ones, I might do four strands just because being so small right here, it might get a little bit chunky, but again, just try. And if you feel like it's too much, you can always take it out. So if you ever want to rip something out, get out one of these bad boys. I'm not going to do it on this one because it'll just make me cry, but you just pull it straight underneath. And this right here is where it's sharp in this curve. So you can, you know, do that. And then I always keep the tweezers next to me. These are not for skin or for your body. They're only for embroidery. And then you can pull out all those little tiny threads. So yeah, really just don't be afraid to just be like, I don't like this. I'm taking it out. That's fine. And if you find that you hate the fishbone stitch and you do one leaf and you're like, nope, ain't doing that again, then just don't do the other ones. Obviously I always say practice like makes perfect, you know, so the more you practice, the more that you might like it. But if you find that it's giving you too much stress, then just move on to something else. We're going to do a lot of other different leaves in this stitch along. So if you find that you're not loving it, and you know it's not because you did it wrong or that you're not doing it very well because it's your first time, then just don't do the rest of them and you can fill it in with something else. Like it's meant to be for fun, you know? You're not doing this to like get an award or get like a plaque or get a like certificate or anything like that. I'm sorry, I don't give certificates at the end. I should though. That would be cool. Sorry, I got distracted. Oh, I should have my mother-in-law bring a brick over when she comes. So yeah, this is what we have. The light is actually on. It's not doing anything, so I can't really help you there. But this is what we've got so far. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I'm off to make an embroidery bingo thing, levels. So if you have any suggestions for that, DM me. So have a great Wednesday. I don't want to leave because I have work to do. Like I have like a housework to do. I don't want to do it. So yeah, I hope you have a lovely day. Don't forget to tag me at the Barmy Fox in your fishbone leaves that we've done today. Head on over to the Barmy Fox SAL and leave some love on other people's leaves, flowers, leaves. We've only done 3 days so far. Embroidery bingo. Okay, so earlier in the chat, we talked about like levels of embroidery, like you've unlocked a level. So when I was stitching, I got my thread stuck around the hardware at the top. So I said, oh my gosh, it's like I've unlocked an embroidery level. And then we started talking about annoying things that happen when you're embroidering. And then someone suggested, Marion from Rebloom Embroidery suggested I make a bingo chart with all the different like annoying things that happen or like levels that you can unlock, like stitching your shirt into the back or stitching your fabric into the back or getting like 3 knots in a row or like maybe putting an even number of spokes on your woven rows, something like that. And then you put them all in a bingo chart. And then if you make a bingo, then it's bingo. Yeah. So I hope you've had a lovely, lovely day and just a bit of fun, isn't it? You know what? I'll put a little question box and you guys can put like your most annoying things that happen in embroidery and I'll make a little bingo thing of it. I would win. I would win first. All right. Enjoy your day. I'll leave you because I'm just talking shit now, aren't I? So, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Bye.